time in franchise history.
Let the good times roll. LSU sits on the throne of college football.
And this one is over. Kansas City has won their first Super Bowl in 50 years.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Land out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Mike's hot.
I cannot think of a better way to start the work week with our annual visit to Dinstall's Fine Candies for Valentine's Day, which is coming up on Friday today. Once again, at the 5280 Pleasant View Road location where they make these fine candies and delectables, the greatest chocolates around. It is Sports 56 Middays, and we're broadcasting live today from Dinstall's, but we'll be broadcasting live on Sports 56 all the way through 6 o'clock today. We're going to tell you all about the specials, things you can win, and everything that's going on at Dinstall's in just a moment. We welcome you in to Sports 56 Middays. It's the Monday, February 10th, 2020 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie on location. Gabe Kuhn back in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40, not far from where we're at today, not too far. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. We can't thank them enough for being a part of our program every single day. Streamline your e-commerce business so you can focus on growing sales and strengthening customer relationships. Learn more at FedEx.com/e-commerce. Also, the first hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo in the heart of East Memphis. The website, GaddisJewelers.com. You can give them a call at 901-767-9648. Your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. And they have a big Valentine's Day gift package that we'll tell you about coming up a little bit later on in the hour that they'll be drawing on Valentine's Day. But we got a busy show for you today. Recapping the weekend with the good, the bad, the ugly. Clayton Collier from Local 24 is going to join us, their anchor reporter, and talk some Tigers at 11 o'clock from right here at Dinstall's. And then at 12:30, Dane Bradshaw will talk SEC hoops with us on the program. As I mentioned, we'll have the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll wrap it up with one final thing. Certainly we're interactive, as you know. We'll take your phone calls on the Tigers and the Grizzlies a little bit later on in the program. First Bank phone lines 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. You can message us at Sports56 WHBQ. You know all the places that you can follow us and watch us on Facebook and Twitter and Periscope and YouTube, etc., etc. But today it's all about Dinstall's. And Eli, we're so happy. Every year we get the opportunity to come here. We got chocolates in front of us. We have the cashew crunch in front of us. They're going to be dipping the chocolate-covered strawberries and other fruits tomorrow morning. Man, it's a good time of the year.
It is indeed. This is always a great day. Always fun to be here. The best part about it is we got samples, so we get to enjoy ourselves with a lot of chocolate and cashew crunch, and we just get to munch all day long. And you can do that too. If you come on by and see us here, you can indulge in some of the samples as well. Plus, we give you an opportunity to win. They give you an opportunity to win. We will be drawing, Rollo and Stats will be drawing at just before 6 o'clock tonight as we'll wrap everything up. There's going to be somebody will win a 1-pound heart-shaped box of Dinstall's hand-packed chocolates. Somebody will win a 1-pound box of the chocolate-covered strawberries. Can be picked up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. You get to choose on that. And we also have, beyond just the candy, we're also going to give some folks, 3 people as a matter of fact, $50 gift certificates to Gould's. So that's a pretty good Valentine's Day, too.
Not too shabby, and all you got to do is come by, but you have to come by this location to register to win. However, you can come by all 4 of their locations before 6 o'clock, and whatever you purchase today, you will receive a 14% discount Now, your purchase has to be $14 or more, but a 14% discount. So you're getting the best chocolates and candies around, but you're also getting a discount. That'll be at Laurelwood. That'll be at Germantown. That'll be in Collierville. And the new store downtown, which is on Main Street. How about that? A new downtown Dinstall's.
Yeah, that's right. Great to have them down, see them moving into the downtown area right there on Main Street. It's basically Main and Peabody, right there next to Majestic Grill, and I believe that's Lenny's on the corner there. So you can check them out downtown now. They've got you covered, all the different areas. All the different neighborhoods are covered east and now downtown as well with Dinstall's. And, of course, this one here where they're making it all just a fantastic place. But, yeah, make sure you go any location you go into. Just mention Sports 56 today, and you're going to get that 14% off any purchase of 14 or more. But yes, you do have to come to this location if you want to register to win the prizes that we'll be drawing for at the end of the programs. Again, we'll be here. John Harden will be here with Sports 56 Happy Hour, and then Sports Time will be here as well, and they'll be giving away all the prizes at the end of that. But we're going to have the samples all day long, and you could certainly come in anytime to enjoy that, register to win, and take advantage of that discount. And,
of course, you can go to any of the locations to order your chocolate-covered strawberries. They are taking the orders right now. They'll be dipping tomorrow morning, and then you'll pick them up later on in the week. But that's certainly a treasure and an institution here in Memphis is to get a chocolate-covered strawberry from Dinstall's. But they have everything. All nut assortments and creams and cherries and truffles. And you can get anything from a box ranging 2.5 ounces to 7 pounds. There's a box to fit everyone's wallet. It's Dinstall's Fine Candies. Again, this is the place to be for Valentine's. Get your sweets some sweets.
What was the thing that Becky gave us before we went on the air here?
Oh,
the new thing.
It's called. Where did I write it down? My gosh, where did I write it down? Becky, the new chocolate with the nuts.
The
Tiger Paws. How about that for all you Tiger fans out there?
That was delicious. That was absolutely. What's all in that? What? Peanut butter. Okay.
Wow.
Peanut butter with whole roasted salted peanuts covered in chocolate.
Yeah, and their own.
Yeah.
Peanut butter.
I love the peanut butter cups here, but now that's taking it to the next level. But yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't want the peanuts, you can get the peanut butter with the chocolate. They have like you said, they almost taste like a Reese's cup. They have them as well. Anything you could think of, they have it here, and again, all sizes to fit your financial needs. We are excited. Hope you are as well. So come on by, register to win. Again, we are broadcasting all day long up until just before 6 o'clock when Wolo and Stats will draw for all our prizes. But again, take advantage of, make sure when you go to any of the locations, you mention Sports 56. You heard it on WHBQ or Sports 56. And if you purchase $14 or more, you get 14% off your total purchase, but only today. Okay, so it was almost a disastrous weekend for Hoop City. And we've had a couple of those. But the Grizzlies yesterday, in come-from-behind fashion, kind of bailed us out of that. But overall, though, still not a great weekend. When you look at Friday night, and I expected this, I would imagine I'm not alone, expecting that the Grizzlies were going to have trouble in Philadelphia. They did. And then the Tigers on Saturday, inexplicably, losing at home to USF. And I know we'll talk about the injuries and all that stuff, but it's USF that is not a good basketball team, and you lose that game. You battled back from 9 down in the final 3 minutes and still couldn't get it done. And then last night, just had your fingers crossed. Come on, Grizzlies. For 3 quarters, it did not look good against a pretty bad Washington team. And then you rally in the fourth quarter, and John Morant is the man behind the plan. A triple-double, his first NBA triple-double. He was fantastic in that fourth quarter. And he really willed the Grizzlies to the win, which pushes the Grizzlies a game above 500 as they now go to 27-26. And there's only one game remaining before the All-Star break, and that'll be Wednesday night against Portland, the first of 3 meetings with the Trailblazers. And that right now seems to be the battle. The Grizzlies holding is it a 2 or 2.5 game lead?
2.5 right now. 2.5
game lead over Portland, who beat Miami last night. And they got a soft schedule coming up, and the Grizzlies have a rugged schedule. So Wednesday night is the only home game of those 3 against Portland. The other 2 will be in Rip City. They need support. They need to win that game because that lead for that 8th and final spot in the playoffs is tedious. And we're talking playoffs now because, look, we're 50 3 games in. There's only 29 games to go. So after Wednesday, the All-Star break, there'll be 28 games after the All-Star break. So the Grizzlies are actually in a playoff battle right now.
Yeah, and Wednesday should be fun, too, just because Damian Lillard is playing better than anybody in the league right now. He's just lighting people up. And obviously, Ja coming off the triple-double, the first career triple-double. He continues to be outstanding. That'd be fun to see Ja going against Damian Lillard, who's one of the best point guards in the entire league. And
hopefully he will have calmed down by Wednesday night because he's good enough. He doesn't need to be angry, too, because when he's angry, he's even better. But Portland got screwed royally over the weekend, and Dame Lillard got screwed personally on a game-tying runner that should have been called goaltending against Utah was not, and he went ballistic. He's going to hear it from the NBA, and I think somebody said that to him on Twitter, and he came back with, "I got a lot of money." He ain't worried about it. He made his feelings felt right at those officials. He was upset, and that's a loss that Portland maybe should have won the game. You don't say they definitely would have won the game, but they certainly had an opportunity and it was taken away from bad officiating.
Yeah, it's one of the weird things with the instant replay is that the officials can't review the goaltending if it's not called. You could review goaltending that is called to see if maybe you need to change it and say it wasn't goaltending. But when you just miss the call, there's nothing you can do to go back and correct it. And I don't know how they missed that one because that was as obvious as it gets. I mean, the ball was well off the glass by the time Rudy Gobert blocked it. So I don't understand how they missed that one, but certainly an extremely costly missed call for Portland.
Benefits the Grizzlies. You hate to see it, but then again, if it benefits the Grizzlies, I don't know if it's that bad. But the Grizzlies, getting back to what they did yesterday, coming from behind, they trailed Washington by as many as 12 and won that game 106-99. They got a solid game from Jaren Jackson Jr. with a double-double, 14 and 11. Jonas Valanciunas cleaning the boards, doing a great job rebounding the basketball for the Grizzlies. And John Morant, as we mentioned, his first triple-double, 27, 10, and 10. The last category to go double was the rebound, which he got at the very end. And then the players, his teammates surrounding him, and showing their love for Ja. That was something special. Look, you're going to see that most of the time with teams, but there is a love affair between these players on this Grizzlies team. I don't know if it's all against or it's us against the world type mentality, but that mentality was put into place by a rookie head coach, Taylor Jenkins, and his staff to start camp, and it has multiplied. And there's something to be said about guys that really, really, truly love to play with one another. And they were so happy to see John Morant get his first of what will hopefully be many triple-doubles.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that amazes, one of the things that amazes me about Ja is just, I mean, and this is why, again, I don't think it's that big a deal when, that you traded the veterans like Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill. Like, this is Ja's team already. For a rookie to come in and be the type of leader, and you can see people rally around him, and part of it is the fact that he not only talks the talk, but walks the walk, and you see him in fourth quarters and things where he can take over games. But this is clearly his team, and they all are happy to be there with him and along for the ride. Let him do his thing. I think most of those guys know Ja being out there makes them better. But that was cool to watch them celebrate with him and him get that first triple double.
Now the new players who are part of the Grizzlies after the trade with Miami and the subsequent trades with Minnesota and Houston, they were with the team on Sunday in Washington. Jordan Bell, who's going to wear number 2, and Gorgie Jang is going to wear number 14. They were both in uniform but did not play. Jang hasn't even practiced with the team. Justice Winslow is with the team. He'll wear number 7, but he is on the shelf with the back injury, and I don't think there's going to be any rush to get Justice Winslow back. Maybe he'll be able to play before the season ends. Maybe he won't. But that's a guy that they believe is a huge part of the future, and that's why they invested so heavily in this trade, taking on the bad contracts they took on. One of those being Dion Waiters, who, as expected, although some thought maybe they would do what they did with Andre Iguodala, but it takes both sides to agree. And the thought was that maybe Dion Waiters did not agree about sitting out. So the Grizzlies cut him. And they owe him a lot of money. That's $12.6 million next season and whatever he was owed the remainder of this season. That's dead money right there. That hurts you obviously next year, but we talked, or this off-coming season, but we talked about the free agent field is not going to be as strong as it probably will be the year after. So they did what I think everybody expected with Dion Waiters. It's interesting that the Lakers have come out. There's some reports that they may be interested in looking at Dion Waiters for their playoff run and hopefully for their sake, a deep run. But it made a lot of sense that Dion Waiters was not going to be a part of this team. But if you're Robert Parra, if I was an owner, look, obviously you're deep pocketed, you have a lot of money, but you hate to waste money. And you think about the money they've had to waste with Andre Iguodala, you had to pay him, even though he wasn't part of the team. Dion Waiters, you have to pay him, even though he's not part of the team. And that's just money that goes right down the old sewer.
But that's why you get the other stuff in those trades. And that's why last off season, with the cap space they had, they were able to be that facilitator to let other teams who were trying to clear cap space do so. And as a result, you net the rewards. And you got the first-round pick for Andre Iguodala taking on that contract. You were able to get DeAnthony Melton and Josh Jackson for very little from Phoenix because they needed to clear cap space. And that's, again, going into this offseason, now that's you're not in that position where you could be that team, but they certainly netted a lot of rewards off of what they were able to do last year. And you take on some dead money for a chance to get a look at Justice Winslow. And that's what you're doing here. And if Justice Winslow can stay healthy, it could end up being a great move. If Justice Winslow never fully gets healthy and constantly battles injury, well, then it won't look like such a great move. But I think it was certainly worth the risk to take.
Raider Corey texted in. You could text in as well at 67129. Back on the subject of Damian Lillard, he said that what they said was he is not going to be fined, which, by the way, is ridiculous. Even though he is right and should be upset and the officials blew it, you still can't go ballistic on officials. He still should be fined. There's no question he should be fined. He's right, but just because they blew the call and admitted to blowing the call doesn't mean now that you allow the person to go off, and he did. So that's what Corey heard. I hadn't heard that yet, which I think is sort of ridiculous. Wouldn't that be something if they went, man, oh man, that he can't go off like that. We're going to fine him and suspend him a game, and he won't play Wednesday. We'd love that.
Well, if he was, but
that's not going to be the case. Apparently,
if he was going to be fined, it would have been announced by now.
It would have probably happened, right?
Friday night.
Oh no, I believe what Corey's saying. I'm dumbfounded by that. I don't think because they were wrong with the call, you can let a player go off. But it's the double standard of the NBA. It's a star that's going off, and they're going to treat the star a lot differently than they are some average role player. The other day, and I'm not talking about the game at Washington. It was the Philly game on Friday night, and the Grizzlies got beat up there, 119-107. It wasn't even as close as a 12-point game would indicate, which is not that close. I mean, they were getting blitzed. They were out-rebounded 50-40 in that game, and they shot 5 of 21 from 3. But I remember Brevin Knight early in the game a couple of times talking about these phantom foul calls against the Grizzlies, and one was against Ben Simmons and one was against Joel Embiid. And Brev knows better than anybody. Come on. You know why they're calling them. Superstars get the calls. End of story. Plain and simple. Don't even argue this with me. They get the benefit. And that's why, I would guess Lillard not getting fined would be he's getting the benefit, not because they were wrong on the call, because he's Damian Lillard. All right, I was telling you earlier about James Gaddis Jewelers. They are first-hour sponsor of Middays. And they got a nice little deal coming up this week for Valentine's Day. We got a great little deal here going on at Dinstall's, but also for Valentine's Day, a combination of James Gaddis Jewelers, the Skin Clinic, that's the Skin Clinic East, and Envy Nail Bar. They're teaming up for an incredible Valentine's Day giveaway. The winner will receive a complete signature facial and a custom spray tan at the Skin Clinic East by esthetician Lee Gardner. Also a $100 gift card to Envy Nail Bar, one of the top salons in Memphis, and a full bar service. In other words, you can enjoy a cocktail as you're getting taken care of at Envy Nail Bar. And then a $100 gift card to James Gaddis Jewelers, serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for 23 years, one of the best collections of diamonds, rings, watches, vintage jewelry, and much, much more. To enter, follow on Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers, at Envy Nail Bar Memphis, and at Skin Clinics East, and tag 3 friends. Now, the winner will be drawn at 11 a.m. this Friday, Valentine's Day. You can also register at Gaddis Jewelers. And make sure to visit Gaddis Jewelers, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram and Twitter. We'll take our first time out. This is Middays live from Dinstall's Fine Candies. Come and see us at 5280 Pleasant View Road, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has over 400 new Chevy cars and trucks in stock, ready for immediate delivery. Factory rebates up to $6,500 and Sunrise discounts high as $10,000. Immediate financing available with interest rates low as 0%. A $6 million used car inventory with cars and trucks for every budget, and a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $99.95. If you've been turned down at another dealer, see us at sunrisememphis.com. We specialize in financing, and Sunrise is home with a guaranteed credit approval. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch in Collierville.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 8989 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 8989. Enjoy.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Service is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also do a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera to make sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready to use on those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And call this week, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
It's a little wet on this Monday morning, but we are brightening your day, in fact, all day long, not just during middays. John Harden will be here. Well-known Stats will be here. We're broadcasting live from Dinstall's Fine Candies all the way through 6 o'clock. We're at the 5280 Pleasant View Road location where they make the chocolates, and we got all types of goodies for you.
That's right. Plenty of samples for folks to come on by and try the various chocolates or some cashew crunch. And again, all locations today of Dinstall's from now until 6. You go on in, and whatever your purchase is, and again, you can get those. You can order those chocolate-covered strawberries today to be picked up any day this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Of course, Friday is actual Valentine's Day. But any purchase of $14 or more, you can get 14% off simply by mentioning Sports 56 WHBQ at any of the locations. Now, if you come to this location while we're broadcasting, again, we've got the free samples out, plus you can register to win, and we are going to be drawing just before 6 o'clock tonight for a 1-pound heart-shaped box of Dinstall's hand-packed chocolates, a 1-pound box of the chocolate-covered strawberries, again, to be picked up any day that you want, and 3 $50 gift certificates to Gould's. So, got plenty of Valentine's Day gift possibilities that you could win. You could absolutely win. You don't even have to tell them. You do not have to tell your sweetheart that you got it for free. I will allow you to lie. I will not call you out.
Don't lie. Just don't say anything.
I will. If they call me and ask, I will deny everything.
And again, they have Valentine boxes that range from 2.5 ounces all the way up to 7 pounds. So there's a box to fit everyone's wallet. It's Dinstall's Fine Candies. Coming up at 11 o'clock, Clayton Collier from Local 24 is going to join us right here at Dinstall's. And then at 12:30, Dane Bradshaw, SEC basketball analyst, former Tennessee Vol, will join us to talk about the SEC. College basketball is absolutely bonkers. I mean, you look up and down any conference, and it's crazy. And it was another crazy weekend. And it was not a good weekend for the Memphis Tigers. It seemed like the Tigers had gotten it together, had won 3 in a row. And with the chaos in the American Conference, they were right there. And they're still not out of it with the chaos that has happened. They're 6-4 in the conference. And I'll go over the standings here in just a second. But that was a critical loss. It was a home loss. It was against South Florida, not a great team. And the Tigers fall 75-73 as they drop to 17-6, 6-4 in conference play. I have not seen Jerry's bracketology today, Jerry Palm. I'm assuming that they are out of it.
I'm going to guess so. It'd be hard to keep them in at this point.
As far as the game itself, the Tigers at one point trailed 67-58 with 3:34 to play, and then rallied. They tied it up, and the game was 68 all with 1:33 to go. But the Tigers couldn't get it done as they end up losing. They had it at 73-70. South Florida had made a free throw and then missed the free throw. And the Tigers were unable to secure a rebound on the missed free throw and get a chance at trying to tie the game up. Yes, they had more injuries. Malcolm Dandridge did not play. In the previous game against Temple, he tweaked his knee. Remember, he was coming off the offseason surgery and did not feel comfortable, so he did not play. I don't believe it's anything too serious. They did an MRI, and there's no structural damage. So it all depends on how he feels and if he's able to go on Thursday at Cincinnati. Precious Achiuwa got hurt late in the game and went down like a ton of bricks. Precious is having some issues with both his back and his hip, and it wasn't just from that fall. He's been banged up a bit. He was banged up in practice all week long. And then Lance Thomas late in the game got hurt, and it did not look good, but I didn't see how he got hurt, and now I hear it was cramps. So that's the best case scenario, that it was cramps and nothing too serious. So right now, the thought is that hopefully they'll have Lance Thomas and Precious Achiuwa, maybe even Malcolm Dandridge, all for Cincinnati on Thursday, which even though it's a road game, that's a must-win. You got to steal one now in Cincinnati, and then you go to Connecticut on Sunday. But if these injuries are something that lingers because the players are uncomfortable playing, that's going to really, really crush this team. We won't know anything more until Penny Hardaway releases that information. Of course, he'll have the radio show tonight that he does every week, and I'm sure that information will get out. But, Eli, it's a combination of, at times, poor play because of turnovers or getting beat on the boards, and then also the injuries that are just mounting up with this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly there is some bad luck. There's with the injuries and all of that, there are certain things that you just can't, you don't foresee coming. But I mean, you still you can't lose at home to South Florida. That's a team that's not even a 500 team. Like that was a bad basketball team.
The Tigers
you should have went 0-2 against them. I mean, you got lucky down there. They should be 0-2 against South Florida.
Right, and that was full strength other than DJ was playing for them the first time in Tampa. They just didn't have Wiseman. Now in this game, they're down 9, and Thomas, I think, is already out. And they rally behind Tyler Harris and Alex Lomax, who were the best players for the Tigers in this particular game. So it wasn't the lack of size that lost them this game. They were losing earlier when those guys were on the floor. But down the stretch, you don't get an offensive rebound on a missed free throw. That you can blame on not having any bigs in there. And in the end, it's just, look, it's a lot of bad luck. But it's a lot of things. It's not just bad luck. We can't just throw this on, well, they're snake bitten, and that's why they're losing games. They're losing games because of bad execution. They're losing games because of turnovers. And they finally did a better job protecting the basketball on Saturday.
They only had 11 turnovers, so you can't blame this one on turnovers.
No, and still lose the game. As I said, Harris, who when he's on can really, you got to feed the beast. When Tyler Harris has that game, and it's unfortunately not every other game. It's every third game maybe. You got to feed him. And he had 17 points. He was 5 of 7 from 3. But teams will try to deny him the ball because he's a little guy out there, and they'll put size on him. Alex Lomax had 14 points, and he was 2 of 3 from 3. And Boogie Ellis had a nice game with 14 points. But look, Precious, although we know how good he is and the best player on the team and probably the best player in the league, and a good chance he'll be a lottery pick in the draft, a one-and-doner. But he's getting banged up. I mean, teams are banging on him, and it's starting to wear and tear at him. And Justin Brown, for South Florida, he was the one who dominated the boards. He had 14 points and 16 rebounds, and he was a key to that USF win.
See, the thing is this. It seems like just there's a lot of flaws with this team. That's the bottom line. Like,
right.
One, it's turnovers have been a problem, and then this one you don't turn it over, but we see the poor free throw shooting rear its ugly head again. They can't shoot. They don't have a lot. Tyler Harris had the good game here, and certainly Lomax, but nobody else then can make it 3. Because you can look at it and say, well, with all the injuries and everything else, they got out rebounded 41-29. They gave up 15 offensive rebounds in the game, but South Florida only had 10 second chance points. They were only +4 in second chance points. So the 15 offensive rebounds, they really didn't get much out of those. There's just, I don't know. It just, to me, yeah, even with the injuries, if you just look at the talent that is on the floor, Memphis is still a better team than USF. You're playing at home with better talent, and you can't figure out a way to win the game.
Now you're dropping home games like they're going out of style, which is just horrible. You've lost to Georgia at home. You lost to SMU at home. You now lose to USF. And now here's what's coming up for the Tigers. At Cincinnati Thursday, at Connecticut on Sunday. They'll get a home game against East Carolina. Then they'll have to host Houston, who just destroyed Wichita State yesterday. They'll play at SMU. They'll play at Tulane. They'll get Wichita State at home, and Wichita State's on the skids right now, and then have to go to Houston. I don't know what they can do. I mean, obviously, if they run the table, they're certainly back solidly in the mix. That would include 2 wins over Houston, a win over Wichita State, a win over Connecticut on the road, a win over Cincinnati on the road, and a win over SMU on the road.
But there's no reason to think that that's going to happen.
No reason.
I mean, they just lost at home to South Florida. There's a better chance that they go under 500 in that stretch.
I'm thinking there's a better chance this week they lose 2 on the road. And I don't know what to say because most people are going to just look at the Wiseman situation, and then others are going to look at the other injuries and just chalk it up to one of those seasons of bad luck. But there were times in games when they had the full arsenal minus Wiseman that they did not execute and lost games or didn't play well down the stretch. There were other games earlier in the season in which they did play well because they executed well down the stretch. Like you said, it's still an extremely talented team even without Wiseman. You lose DJ Jeffries, that's a huge loss. That's 2 of your top 3 players. But you still come in the USF with Precious Achiuwa, with Boogie Ellis, with Lester Quinones, with Lomax and Harris, and you think at home you're winning that game, and you don't get it done. People will, again, they'll look at, well, Achiuwa went down late. Achiuwa was having a bad game. Lance Thomas went down late. Well, they rallied from 9 down when he was off the court at the end. I don't... Penny's not going to make excuses, but it is reality that they've had these injuries. But it's just a shame. It went from what could be a phenomenal run at a Final Four with this team, with the number 1 recruiting class, to a team now that is out of the tournament, hoping to stay in the NIT, with this rugged schedule coming up, or can they find a way to make a miraculous run despite the injuries, despite the inconsistent play, and kind of turn things around? But we're going to go into the offseason, and a lot of people, I think, are just going to chalk it up to the bad luck. And you hate to do that. Some of it is, but some of it isn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yes, again, there's bad luck, but that's not – you can't – this isn't all because of bad luck. This team has not – most of these guys have not lived up to expectations. Certainly some of the blame has to go on the coaching staff. They have not been able to figure out a way for the most part to correct the turnover issues, a lot of other issues. There's been different lineups and all of that stuff. And there's plenty of blame to go around. For this team, obviously the conference tournament still looms ahead, and there's still time. But, chances are right now they're not going to make the NCAA tournament. For this team, which was, number 14 in the preseason? And I get it, James Wiseman, blah, blah, blah. But there's no excuse for this team to not be an NCAA tournament. This year in college basketball, when there's a million bubble teams, for you not to be able to be on the good side of that is that's a really, really bad year.
Even when Wiseman decided that he was going to call it a short career at Memphis and opt for getting ready for the NBA, if you gave everybody a shot of truth serum, they would have still said, this is an NCAA tournament team.
Oh, absolutely. You just looked at the lineup still. You were if you would have never had Wiseman in the recruiting class, it still would have been a easy top 10 recruiting class. You got 4 top 50 kids. So you can't just James Wiseman, yes, big time difference maker, but this was still an extremely talented team, even if you took James Wiseman off of it.
The other thing is people are going to continue to harp on the youth, and yes, we talked about this pre-season, that's going to be a problem. Who's the leader on this team? They're so young. And I know Penny and company tried to get Rajon Tucker. He was going to come here, and he ended up going to the NBA. And that hurt, because you didn't have that experienced player to help with the young players. But now we're 23 games in. Are they still freshmen? 23 games in. These guys have been together as a unit since they went to the Caribbean in August. We're 23 games into the season, so some of that freshmanitis should be over with.
Again, there's just no reason You can't use youth as an excuse of losing to South Florida on your home floor. Bottom line, come on. It's a below 500 team who's, they lost to IUPUI this year. This is not a good team. Comes into your building and beats you. There's no excuse for that. Big Ed is dialed up on the First Bank phone lines. 360-8255. 360-8255 is the phone number. 67129 is the First Bank text line. We'll get to those texts coming up in a little bit as well. Big Ed is first up. Hey, Big Ed.
Hey, guys. I got a take on this I don't think anybody's really talked about. Number one, Penny Hardaway is an inexperienced college basketball coach. going to take him time. And I'm going to say why we lost that game. Who was in the game that wasn't in the game in the first 8-9 minutes of the second half that was doing exceptionally well? I'm fixing to tell you, and I think you know who it is. Lomax was in the game, and Tyler Harris was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
And Lomax he had a good game going. Now we come out in the second half, no the bench, but they stayed on the bench far too long. They didn't come back into the game until they got down by about 9 points. And that right there cost us the game. You can say the big men cost us the game. But, yeah, Precious had a bad game. But I will say that the inexperience of the coach, why in the world do you come back the second half and got Damian Ball? Damian Ball has no business being out there to start a game, to start a half. He's a bench player and about the 9th or 10th player down on the bench. All right? I'd rather have Jalen Hardaway in the game than Ball. Ball's not played well. He wasn't having a good game. But I'm telling you, Tyler Harris was on fire, and we waited too late to have them two guys in there.
All right, thank you.
I will tell you.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, listen, there's no doubt, as you said, with Tyler Harris, when Tyler Harris has got it going like that, you got to get Tyler Harris shots. Like, he's got to be in the game as much as possible, and he's got to get the ball. I mean, he's one of those guys that when he gets it going, we went 5 of 7 from three-point range. I mean, he can hit you 7, 8 threes in a game. So I don't know when exactly he came in the game in the second half, all of that. But yeah, when he's got it going, you need to get him the ball. He needs to be out there, and you need to keep getting him shots.
Yeah, look, the premise of what Big Ed said is correct. But, and I think if I'm reading this right, Harris got back in at 12 and a half minutes to go in the second half. And the game was a 5-point game at that point. So that's 12 and a half minutes. I don't think they waited too late to get those guys in the game. There's 12 and a half minutes to go in the game when he's playing. It's not like Tyler Harris came in with 3 minutes to go in the second half. His premise is correct. Harris and Lomax were the best players on the floor for the Tigers, and we'll say it till we're blue in the face. When Tyler has that look and he's got the shot going, he needs to be in there and he needs to get the ball. But I think for the most part down the stretch, he was in there. And, in fact, it was Harris hitting those threes and Lomax hitting those threes that rallied them from 9 down. But it wasn't the first time they were in the game in the second half. I mean, they got in there 12 and a half minutes to go. At least that's what I'm looking at, correct? I mean, it could have even been earlier, and then they could have went out of the game and then back in. The other thing is, I don't know if this 2 foul to the bench thing in the first half is advantageous for the Tigers. I understand the premise, Eli, that you want to have – the game's not going to be decided in the first 20 minutes. So you want to make sure guys are aggressive in the second half, and if they already have 3 fouls, maybe they're less aggressive. But it seems like the flow for the Tigers, I go back to that Oregon game when Wiseman got the early 2 fouls, is not worked out. And he had 3 guys with 2 fouls in the first half. He had to sit all of them, Achua, Boogie, and Ball, I believe. I think you lose the flow.
He is one of those coaches who just clearly is not going to do it. They're 329th in the nation in 2 foul participation. So he's not going to play guys with 2 fouls in the first half.
Yeah. Lawn Solutions is a locally owned weed control fertilization company that serves the greater Memphis area. Brandon Holly is the owner of the company. He has a team of pros that will take care of your lawn, and they do it all year long. Give them a call at 867-5626. That's 901-867-5626, or go online to lawnsolutionsinc.net. They control the germination of weeds 12 months a year. Pre-emergents are being applied right now during the winter months, and post-emergence during the summer months. It's a lot easier to prevent the weeds from popping up than it is to kill them, but they could do that as well. They could take care of any disease your lawn has or any insect infestation. It's Lawn Solutions, lawnsolutionsinc.net. They take care of my lawn. They should take care of yours as well. 901-867-5626. Call Brandon and tell him I sent you. When we come back, we got some text to read on the Tigers. This is Middays live from Dinstall's Fine Candies. Come see us at 5280 Pleasant View Road on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat every afternoon for Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio, right here on Sports 56, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM. You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light-duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
The construction reduction event is on at Wolf Chase Honda. Exciting changes are in the works and inventory must be reduced. Get the best deals right now on all remaining 2019 Hondas while they last. Every new car, every certified, every used car, price to go. Get pre-approved now at wolfchasehonda.com. Wolf Chase Honda is expanding and our prices are dropping. Don't miss these savings. Act now. This huge construction reduction event ends soon.
For the best lineup of quality, fuel-efficient, and fun-to-drive vehicles, get to Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan. Over 1,000 new certified and pre-owned vehicles in one great location. Catch the savings now during our huge model year-end sales event. Score an amazing deal at Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan and get to the game in style at Germantown Road and Highway 64. Family-owned since 1981.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Mike's on. Broadcasting live today from Dinstall's Fine Candies, 5280 Pleasant View Road. We're here all the way until 6 o'clock. Valentine's Day is Friday, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure to get your sweets, some sweets here at Dinstall's Fine Candies.
And the chocolate covered strawberries here are it's an institution.
It is.
It is, and they are going to be ready to go. You could have them. You can pick them up tomorrow. Wednesday,
dip in tomorrow morning,
Thursday, or Friday. So you can pick your day, whatever day you want to pick up your strawberries. You can do that. Just come on by, get that order in, and again, if you do that today. At any of the locations, you can get the discount because you get 14% off a purchase of $14 or more up until 6 o'clock, and you can take advantage of that at any of the locations today. But if you come here to Pleasant View, you can register to win some prizes. We're going to be giving away a 1-pound box of assorted chocolates, a 1-pound box of the chocolate-covered strawberries, and 3 $50 Gould's gift certificates that will be drawn for just before 6 o'clock tonight. So you got plenty of time to get on by here, take advantage of that, and Plus, when you come on by, we've got some samples here for you to try as well. So you can come on by, pick up maybe a piece of chocolate, pick up some cashew crunch on your way in. You do some shopping. You save the 14% off. It's all good. Everything good.
It's a win-win. Grab a Sports 56 T-shirt while you're here and while supplies last. Before you get some, I know you got some text to read. Here are the standings right now. Updated standings in the American. Houston is 9-2. Cincinnati is 8-3. Tulsa is 7-3. They've lost 2 in a row now. The Tigers and SMU are both 6-4, and Wichita State is 5-5. And then suddenly USF and Connecticut creeping up a little bit at 4-6. Remember, the top 4 get first-round byes in the American Conference Tournament. But again, the Tigers are just a couple of games, 2.5 games, I guess, technically behind Houston. But they play Houston twice. They play Cincinnati on Thursday. They still have to play Wichita State. Over the weekend, listen to these results. On Saturday, Temple, who just lost to Memphis, beat SMU by 7 in overtime. Connecticut beat Cincinnati in overtime, 72-71. Tulsa lost at UCF 83-75, so Tulsa's lost 2 in a row. They've come back down to earth. And this one, which was just stunning, not the team that won, but how much they won by, Houston beating Wichita State 76-43. Greg Marshall's team is in disarray right now.
Some text here on the First Bank text line at 67129. One says, Memphis is fixing to lose 4 out of 5. If Precious does not play, it will get ugly. It is a tough stretch here coming up.
Extremely tough.
Obviously, the East Carolina game, you better win that one. But Cincinnati, Connecticut, Houston, Houston at home, and then SMU, who you've already lost to at home, so certainly you can lose to them on the road. But yeah, it is a tough stretch coming up. Raider Corey texted. He says, I've said it before, it's the rotations and lack of adjustments that is challenging for Penny. You fought back to take a 3-point halftime lead because of Harris and Lomax. Adjustment 1, you start Harris at the point, or at the 2 coming out of the break. You don't wait 7 minutes into the second half to go back to him. Adjustment 2, you live with the defensive efficiencies. You need scoring.
Defensive deficiencies,
yeah, it should
right?
be deficiencies, yeah. Ball can't be there when he's a 59% free throw shooter, nor providing any scoring. Last adjustment, switch things up and press more. Not only when you're in desperation mode, which may and should create more easy looks since you are challenged offensively. Another one here says, Memphis went from having the best rim protector in the nation in Wiseman to no rim protector. We have no rim protectors now. Okay. I'm going to say this again. And Raider Corey alluded to it. This is not a defensive problem. Look at the defensive numbers. You're talking about they have no rim protectors. They are number 2 in the nation in block percentage. Every defensive number is fantastic. 14th in defensive efficiency, 1st in effective field goal percentage allowed, 2nd 2-point percentage allowed, 44th in 3-point percentage allowed, 2nd in block percentage. I mean, every defensive number is really, really good. It's not a defensive problem. They can't score is the problem.
No, that's true, but I think what the texter's alluding to, if I can guess what they're talking about, is that if they lose Precious, Lance Thomas, and Malcolm Dandridge, and again, none of those injuries seem to be severe injuries. And again, with Lance Thomas, it was cramps. I think what they're saying is if they had lost those 3 guys for an extended period of time to go along with Wiseman, then there's nobody protecting the rim. So we went from the best rim protector in college basketball, James Wiseman, to nobody protecting the rim. I think that's what they're saying. But you're absolutely right. Defensively, that is not an issue. Although on Saturday, one of the big mishaps of that game was not getting that rebound off the missed free throw, which is a defensive problem there.
Another text here says NCAA hurt Memphis by not allowing Isaiah Stokes to be eligible. Okay, but really like we thought we were going to be that Isaiah Stokes was going to be the issue about making the NCAA tournament?
If you're going to blame the NCAA, blame them on Wiseman. the Stokes thing.
I mean,
we're really reaching, right?
So another one here says the Tigers have no heart at this point, and it may be due to coaching. They will lose first round in the NIT to Bogus State University. Whether it's a home game or, by golly, they'll lose by by 25 on the road. Cal had the dribble drive identity. Penny's team doesn't even have an identity.
I refuse to believe they don't have heart. They were down 9 points and rallied to tie the game on Saturday and lost. There's a lot of problems. I don't think it's heart and effort. I disagree with the texter.
Yeah, I think they play hard. I think there's absolutely is heart there. They can't make shots. Guys struggle to make shots. Guys struggle to not turn it over. I mean, there's a lot of problems offensively, and I think you can blame some of that on the system that he is trying to run is probably not very well suited for these guys.
All right, when we come back, hour 2 of the program, our friend Clayton Collier, sports anchor and reporter for local Memphis, that's 24 and 30, my old stomping grounds. He'll be joining us here at Dinstall's. We'll continue the conversation on the Tigers and may talk a little bit about the Grizzlies as well. And then after Clayton, we'll open up the phone lines and text line once again to you. We'll have the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend that was at noon. And then coming up at 12:30, we'll talk SEC hoops with Dane Bradshaw. Interesting weekend in the SEC, as it always is. Some crazy games, including that Auburn-LSU finish. And how about Ole Miss and Florida? Mike White, he is in trouble. We are broadcasting live today from Dinstall's Fine Candies, 5280 Pleasant View Road. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
Tiger Hoops fans have something extra to look forward to this coming March. Not only is it tournament time, but it's the opening of the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum.
After Finch's two-pointer, Ronnie Robinson sank the shot that once again brought the two teams into a tie.
Come to the Pink Palace Museum this March and experience 100-plus years of Tiger men's and women's basketball, from their beginnings as the West Tennessee State Normal School to the present.
The Tigers are very much alive.
Don't miss the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum, opening March 7th.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Flo here with a really weird word. Buttery. Buttery? It's not quite butter. It's more butterish. Or maybe buttery is like butchery or bakery, a shop that sells artisanal butter products. Dig in, America. Now a word that's even more weird. Flotection. Sure, it's not really a word, but it is really good protection for your new home through me and Progressive. No ifs, ands, or butteries about it. Sorry.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar? Your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
A little rain never hurt anybody, especially when we're doing what we're doing today, and that's broadcasting live from Dinstall's Fine Candy, so it's worth the drive to come over and see us at 5280 Pleasant View Road as we get set for hour number 2, and we're broadcasting live all the way through 6 o'clock. John Harden follows, and then Wolo and Stats to wrap it up, and we got some great giveaways we'll get to in just a second. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. No matter what stage you're at in your business, there's room to grow online. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. The second hour of the program each and every day brought to you by the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie on location at Dinstall's. Gabe Kuhn is back in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Our friend Clayton Collier joining us here at Dinstall's. We'll talk Tigers with him in just a second. But Eli, again, the incentive. They don't need incentive, man. Valentine's Day's Friday. That's all the incentive they need, but we're giving them a little something extra today as well to come out and see us.
That's right. Come on in. You can register to win here at the Pleasant View location where we are broadcasting from. Where you can register to win. We will be giving away a 1-pound box of assorted chocolates, a 1-pound box of the chocolate-covered strawberries, and 3 $50 Gould's gift cards. Those will be drawn for by Wolo and Stats just before 6 o'clock. Plus, again, here in any of their locations, you get 14% off a purchase of $14 or more all day today up until 6 o'clock. So take full advantage of that at any of the locations. But again, if you want to register to win the prizes, if you want to enjoy some samples, as we've got chocolates and we've got Cashew Crunch here for just come on by, you need to come to Pleasant View to take advantage of that. But the chocolate-covered strawberries, it is that season. They'll be dipping them starting tomorrow. You can pick those up tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. You choose the day to pick them up. And those chocolate-covered strawberries, again, are here and ready. And, again, we'll be giving away a 1-pound box of the chocolate-covered strawberries.
And, Clayton, you've already indulged, haven't you, on a few of these chocolates here?
Well, see, the first 2 weeks of February, I basically live in either candy stores or flower shops because there's Valentine's Day. My girlfriend, Emily, her birthday is the 15th, and then our anniversary is the 3rd. So,
wow.
This is a paid gig, by the way, because I'm going to need those from now on.
That's Clayton Collier, sports anchor, reporter for local Memphis. You see him on Channel 24 and Channel 30. So one of the things that Penny said after the game was that it was a total embarrassment. So far today with our texters and callers, they should have did this, they should have done that. They were missing the size because of the injuries to Thomas and Achua, on and on and on and on. I like that he called out his team and said it's a total embarrassment, that there's no way even for shorthand that we should lose to a mediocre USF team at home. What was your take?
Well, I think that there's a lot that goes into this. Yes, they should not have lost, but at the same token, you had pretty severe foul trouble in that first half, so there wasn't a whole lot you could do, and then obviously the injuries down the stretch. It was a weird game with a pretty poor rhythm to it as well, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't be losing to a sub-500 South Florida team when you have as much talent as you do with the Memphis Tigers. So an embarrassment, yes, it is, because you lost in a game that should be an absolute win. But this team has faced way more than its share of adversity this year. They should probably be doing better than they had, even in spite of it. The problem is you look at the record and it looks great, but you go through the schedule and you count kind of how many, I don't know if we want to call it, maybe since we're in a candy store, maybe cupcake wins. They don't have cupcakes here.
We'll call them truffle wins.
Right, but I mean, you look through that non-conference schedule and, 17 wins, probably about maybe 7 of them aren't exactly quality. And, each team every year has a couple of them.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot to support you here, especially when the conference that you're in. And now, you're looking at the 2 against Houston, the 1 against Wichita State. Now Wichita State's really starting to tank down a little bit. So it's kind of who wants this conference.
Right. It's wide open. That's a great point.
The thing, too, about Saturday is, it's a bad team, a below 500 team. You're on your home floor, and they should have already – they were in desperation mode. Like, you knew you couldn't lose another home game. Certainly not to a team like South Florida. So, if that's your desperation mode is a loss at home to South Florida, doesn't give you a whole lot of hope against the Houstons and even Cincinnati on the road.
Right, and I think with this team there's a whole lot of feeling of this shouldn't be how it is, and this is not what I signed up for one way or another, and that could be on the coach's end, that could be on the player's end, and that obviously that feeling started with James Wiseman. Not only that he's gone and there's a population of players here that came to play with him, but now everybody having to adjust and be out of a role and a rhythm here of what they were expecting going in without James Wiseman. And you still have enough talent here to make something of a season. You still have 6 4 or 5-star recruits that were coming in.
With that said, and you're preaching to the choir, we've said the same thing, but I'll play devil's advocate. Obviously, you lose Wiseman. You lose, I think in all our opinions, the chance to win a national championship. Even though it's a good, really good class, you don't think that they're going to make the run in a national championship. But surely they can make a run, try to get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. The fact that they're not there and they've had all kinds of issues, turnovers, injuries, all that, maybe we overvalued this team without Wiseman, that they were so dependent on Wiseman that they're good, but they're not that good.
See, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers with subtracting Wiseman out of there, but a number 1 recruiting class, still what you have there, you have a lottery pick, and you have 5 other 4-star players, including 3 others that are in the top 50. Mm-hmm. I think you still have about a top 10, top 15 class. There should still be expectations on that even when you don't have James Wiseman. It's very difficult, especially for a second-year coach, to have to readjust a team around, when he doesn't have his star piece in the middle of it, but this team should have still been better off than what they were at. Granted, he didn't have Lester Quinones for quite some time after the hand injury, and now DJ Jeffries as well. So this team is having, a lot of adversity in its face, but there are some times where you also have to look at it like Saturday and say, despite all of that, you really should have had, an opportunity there. The last 5 minutes, it's tough. You were playing a Houston Rockets lineup. You didn't have somebody to grab a rebound.
Yet they rallied from 9 down to tie it up in those last few minutes.
So you can look at it one way or the other, but in that last, the offensive rebounding numbers haven't been great all year. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed that, but I believe they're 9th in the conference, just in conference play.
Right.
So it's not exactly a recent issue, and you still have guys that can pull down rebounds. And, Lance Thomas was starting to be that guy a little bit. Obviously, Precious is there. So it's difficult to really internalize this year because you could say maybe they should have been better, but they have had genuinely, and not making excuses, so much that's gone wrong for them as well. It's tough to really kind of compartmentalize it all.
That's the thing. Like you mentioned, it's still more 4 and 5 star, even without Wiseman. It's more 4 and 5 star guys than the rest of the conference has.
Than the rest of the country for a recruiting class for the 2020.
There's not that many guys in this. There's probably not that many total 4-star guys in the conference on every other team.
Right.
There still can't be 6 and 4 and losing to South Florida at home.
And like I said, that's why I play devil's advocate, because the way you answered that question, I think, is exactly the way I'd answer that question. So we're all on the same page. So now let's look at, is there anything you see from a coaching standpoint or a game planning standpoint that's off?
Well, I think that we've started to see them finally shorten the lineup. It took them probably longer than they should in conference play to shorten the rotation a bit. I know what you've talked to that Penny didn't seem to like when you asked the question about the rhythm between Damian Baugh and Boogie Ellis a couple weeks back, Greg. I've heard that is also something that has frustrated others around the program, is not being able to necessarily get in a rhythm, consistent minutes or one way or another. But that's not how Penny wants to play with this team. So, I mean, that's something that players have to adjust, and whether or not, players like that depends on the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But
in college, it's usually your 5 best guys are out there, unless they're in foul trouble or hurt.
Right.
NBA, you do a lot of that offensive, defensive substitution. Mm-hmm. You see it in college, but you don't see it as much.
Right.
And there's an inconsistency of who's in there and who's not. I'm not saying that that's the major issue, because it doesn't matter who's in there. They're turning the ball. This was a game they actually protected the ball pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So give credit to the coaches and the players for bettering that department, but it still didn't lead to a victory. But I think there's just inconsistencies. We've had texters talk about, well, why isn't Harris out there earlier in the second half? He had the hot hand. He did. But then you can't depend on Tyler every game because he's so inconsistent. And when he's not having the game like he had Saturday, he is an issue out there defensively.
Right.
And it's vulnerability, man, because he's going to get burned defensively. So there's a lot of issues that we can pinpoint. We can't pinpoint things because of the rotations that he used. And I think the reason it's limited now, the rotation numbers, like how many players he plays, because he's lost players.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that would be a deeper bench if those guys were available.
But I think we also need to go back to at the beginning of the year. Remember when he got all these guys coming in? What was the first thing that we were talking about that could be an issue? How are all these guys going to get minutes? And that was an issue that you thought might start to alleviate itself when James Wiseman left, for better or for worse, on that. And then, with DJ getting injured as well, the appearance is that there's probably some regulation there between Boogie Ellis, Precious, Lester getting the minutes that they want.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is now just you've had a little too much of that, and jury's out on whether it'll be Malcolm, Lance, and Precious available going forward. If you don't have those guys out, I don't think you can have realistically put any expectation on them if they're out for a prolonged period of time, having 4 guys out.
But isn't it crazy now? All of a sudden, the last 3-4 games, we're like, man, if they don't have Lance Thomas, they're in trouble. The whole season, he wasn't even used. He was hardly used. He wasn't even a factor.
I mean, to me, that's if you want to, as far as the coaching goes, like there clearly is. They have not been able to figure out how to put these guys in the best situation to be successful in the offensive end. I mean, it took them most of the season to figure out Boogie. I mean, Boogie Ellis, like, all of a sudden they do some things differently, and it woke him up. Like, but why wasn't that done earlier? Why couldn't you have figured that out earlier? He wants to continue to do this NBA-type system, and you may have to just admit that's not going to work with these guys. We got to do something different because we're one of the worst offensive teams. I mean, they're 191st in offensive efficiency. Like there's an issue there, and it's been that way all season long.
Right. And is that an adjustment necessarily from not having James Wiseman and not adjusting properly from that? Probably. But I think with this program as a whole, Penny Hardaway's tried to run it as if it is an NBA team at a college level, and that's not even just on the court. That's with the personnel that they put around the team as well. Just the question is whether or not that exact system can work. It probably could have worked if you had James Wiseman in there, but the trouble has been adjusting since overall, and that's having to put Precious at the 5. DJ Jeffries maybe was supposed to be more of a 3. He's been playing before he got hurt, playing more of a 4. So, there's a lot of guys out of position of what they felt would have been their best.
That's a great point. You nailed it. And here's the thing. You can be that and I still think Penny's a really good coach. I've been to practices and what he does at practice, and he's very vocal, a lot different than in the game. And he's told us why he does that. He does all the work in the practice. So I do think can be a really good X's and O's guy. I think he's still learning. But your point is well taken. The reason why these guys want to play for Penny is because, again, Penny played at the highest level, and the connection to get them to the NBA. He can't call up somebody, hey, put him in the NBA, but he can teach them what they need to know. John Calipari never played in the NBA, but he promises the same stuff. But he also coaches them like they're college kids. It's Coach Cal. He's screaming at them. He's getting into their face. And here it's, it's Penny. It's Coach Penny. It's Penny. So I don't know if there's that same attitude, which I think I would really love Penny to just go vocal and ballistic one time on the court during a game if he has to get teed up. I mean, there were some calls that were really, really bad, and we don't see that. Again, he does it in practice, but he doesn't do it in the game, and I would like to see him more with that college tone, but also have the NBA thing, which is the reason why these players are coming to Memphis and want to play for Penny. Does that make sense?
No, it does, and I think he's, Penny, at least up front and, in press conferences, is a much more, mild, toned person as well.
Oh, he is, absolutely.
Maybe he needs Lil Penny out there to be shouting at the players in practice for him. But yeah, I mean, I'm not, we're not inside every practice, so we don't know. But I think he can get on guys for sure. Just if that's been his approach, I believe a couple weeks ago he said that he might need to start being that guy in practice. Yeah. I think he
does it. Yeah, but he does it a lot. Again, I'm not there that much, but he does it a lot in practice, and he says that that's where he does his work. And then in the game, he's very mild mannered. He's very mild mannered. But a couple of times, I would just I bet you the players would play off of that if there was a time where it was just this atrocious call, and Penny really got into it, and God forbid a technical foul. I think his players, man, they go a little bit harder. I think. I just think that they have that player, that coach right there, who just is going at somebody. He's so mild mannered that sometimes you forget he's out there because you know that you're not going to be taken out of the game right away if you make a mistake. Calipari, and I'm not saying fear is always the best thing, but Calipari, man, he coaches on fear. Yeah. You screw up, you're out of the game.
But see, I think Penny does pull. I think he pulls guys too quick when they make mistakes.
Do you think so?
Yeah, that's why I think we've had a million different.
I was about to say there's a lot of all the different lineup changes.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw last year.
Now he doesn't have as many guys to choose from. So it's harder.
I think he's appeasing all the players. I'm not saying he promised players a certain amount of minutes or whether they're going to start. I'm not saying he did that. But I think that's why, if everybody was healthy, the rotation would be as long as it was earlier in the year, because I think he wants to give everybody minutes.
He even said it after the one game where he said, I'm probably going to have to let guys play through mistakes more, because he wanted to. That when he said he wanted to cut down, he said, I'm going to have to let guys play through mistakes more often.
Yeah, I might have to disagree. I don't know if he's really appeasing people, because if he was, he'd still be trying to put everybody at the positions that they intended to come here.
Right.
And I think that the majority of them are not.
But that change came recently. We go back to what he said about Boogie Ellis. Boogie Ellis being on the ball. All the talk was Boogie Ellis, to make it in the NBA, would probably have to do things at the two. Show that he can knock down the outside shot and play the two guard and play defensively. And he's gotten better defensively under Penny. All those guys have gotten better defensively, but offensively he's playing the two when we know he's better suited with the basketball, at least at the college level. There's Precious, who does not, don't even say he's a center to him. I mean, he'll eat you up. He's not a five. Yeah. But where are they better? When he's playing the five. They are much better. Maybe not in the NBA. He's not going to be a five. He's too small.
Right.
But in college, he's better at Memphis playing the five. So these are things that were reluctant, I think, with Precious and all that, because you had originally Wiseman. But with Boogie, I don't know why the reluctancy was to play him off the ball when he is better with the basketball. And we've seen that the last few games.
Well, I think Boogie Ellis also really struggled with his confidence, because his three-point shooting was not there outside of a couple games in non-conference. And from there, it just really did not recover up until recently. So I think Boogie might be a little more of an anomaly in all of this, where he just was not able to reach his confidence level to get that going again. And you saw his minutes decrease to the point where he was almost an end-of-the-bench guy a couple weeks ago before he finally started getting it going.
But if he has
again.
The basketball, there's more things he can do, rather than if he's the two, waiting for the wing pass and then missing a shot. There's not a lot he can do. When he has the basketball, he can create. Right. And we've seen him go to the hole a lot harder with vigor the last few games, and that's the Boogie Ellis that everybody expected from the get-go.
Right. He's playing with a lot more confidence. I mean, earlier on in the year, in conference season, there was a couple games where he was pretty much just empty minutes.
Right.
And, to see that transformation has been, maybe something that we should point to as a compliment for Penny Hardaway of being able to get this guy kind of going again.
Yeah, whatever it took, they got him going. So they got him going in the right direction. They got Thomas going in the right direction, and lo and behold, DJ gets hurt, and now these injuries to the bigs. All right, so look, we know how rugged the rest of this schedule is, and we know where they stand right now, which is probably on the outside looking in. What do you think can be accomplished?
Well, I mean, short of going on, an incredible run, you're looking at trying to make a run, in Texas, at the conference tournament. Outside of maybe only one loss left on the year that you have, maybe, and trying to sneak in on an at-large bid.
Right.
Maybe if you split with Houston and win the rest, maybe, I don't even know if that's enough. It probably isn't at this point.
No, that's a good point.
I think that the fact that they were struggling as much as they were early on and still were on the bubble shows you that maybe it's a softer bubble than we're thinking this year, even though there's all the parity. There's so many teams. There's probably quite a few other teams that are out there that just don't have the quality win. Wichita State's starting to look like a similar team. They don't really have a major quality win the same way that Memphis doesn't. They had an impressive non-conference record, but they're really struggling in conference play. So, I'm interested to see how the next few weeks go. If Memphis is able to knock off Houston and, get something of a muster of a quality win there, then maybe if all breaks right, maybe they could push in on an at-large and with a real good run in the conference tournament. But it's very unlikely at this point. So I guess we'll have to see. I mean, if you can't beat South Florida as a sub-500 team, maybe we're talking a little too much about Houston here, especially because South Florida, they only recovered from disaster a couple weeks ago in Tampa when they were down 14 in the middle of the second half.
Should have been 0-2 against South Florida. The thing, they've got one quad 1 win, and now they've got 2 quad 3 losses.
Right.
Like it's just, and that quad 1 win is Tennessee, which is holding on by a thread to be quad 1.
Yeah.
Probably by the end of the year will not be, because Tennessee's probably not going to remain in the top 75.
Now, real quick, we don't have a lot of time, but I did want to hit you up on recruiting, because there's a lot of people now that are concerned, well, if they don't make the tournament, will that affect the recruiting? And I personally don't believe it will. And I'll give you examples. Ben Simmons went to LSU. They didn't make the tournament. Anthony Edwards picked Georgia, a team that wasn't going to go to the tournament this year. I still think that players are going to want to play for Penny Hardaway. Now, whether they turn pro and go and play in Australia, that's a whole other ballgame, talking about the Jalen Greens of the world, Greg Browns. But I don't think they're going to look at it and go, well, Memphis didn't make the NCAA tournament. I was going to go to Memphis. Now I'm going to go somewhere else. I don't believe it. What do you think?
I think the most important person to make sure is back next year, not named Penny Hardaway, is Mike Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, he's been a point man on a number of recruits, Greg Brown, Jalen Green as well. So, I know we had the rumors last year that he might be going off to UNLV. Depending on what happens this year, if that's coming to light again,
Florida's a possibility if Mike White loses his job.
Right. So you need him, I think, with how in depth he's been on this next recruiting class. I think that is going to be a major factor towards the end of this year for sure.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Clayton. Really appreciate it. That's Clayton Collier. You can watch him on Local 24, Local 30, sports anchor and reporter. And you can follow him on Twitter at Local24Clayton. We need to take a timeout. We'll come back with more of your calls and texts. We'll continue talking Tigers and Grizzlies, some other college basketball from the weekend. Then a little XFL conversation as they are back, and not a bad weekend at all. Hour number 3, Dane Bradshaw will bring us, or talk to us at 12:30 on SEC Hoops, and we'll also have the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend that was. Broadcasting live today from Dinstall's Fine Candies at 5280 Pleasant View Road. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56. That's AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Put the Case IH legacy of power and efficiency to work in your hayfields and feedlot. Mid-South Ag Equipment has tough Case IH farm-all tractors that can handle a variety of chores fast. With their expert blend of engine and hydraulic power, farm-all tractors can easily tackle loading and material handling chores, as well as mowing and baling. Models range from 65 to 90 horsepower, so you're sure to find one that's perfectly powered for the jobs you do. Stop in or call 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag Equipment, your Case IH headquarters.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
When the days are short and cold, there's no better way to heat up than to swing by 3rd and Court, Memphis's great downtown diner. Chase away the chill with daily lunch specials like meatloaf on Monday or Salisbury steak on Thursday. Nothing beats all-day breakfast to warm your insides, or come in for an old-fashioned diner milkshake with the extra added bonus of a full bar. A milkshake with booze will warm you up nicely. Sit and look out the panoramic windows at the gray winter outside and be happy that instead of being out there, you're inside 3rd and Court, the diner Memphis has been missing.
Listen up, Rebel fans. You can now listen to Rebel Yell Hotline on 87.7 FM or on the web each and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. If you can't listen to 87.7 FM, Sports 56 has made it possible to listen online each and every week. All you have to do is go to sports56whbq.com and click on the Rebel Yell Hotline banner to listen. That's Rebel Yell Hotline each and every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on 87.7 FM or on the web at sports56whbq.com.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays, presented by FedEx.
Y'all there?
This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Mike's hot. We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays, broadcasting live today from Dinstall's Fine Candies. We thank Clayton Collier for joining us here on location. First Bank phone lines are open at 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. Again, a wild weekend in college basketball. Oregon lost at Oregon State by 10. Now, how good is Gonzaga? They beat St. Mary's by 30. And the so-called experts say St. Mary's is a strong second team in the WCC. Either they're strong and Gonzaga is just mammoth, or they're not as strong, because Gonzaga rolled them at St. Mary's by 30. Michigan State lost at Michigan 77-68, and now they've dropped out of the top 25. We'll go over that in just a second. And then also that Duke-North Carolina game. The season just continues to get worse for North Carolina. They have a chance, a golden opportunity to beat their rivals, and I still don't know how Duke came back and won that game.
The Trey Jones missing free throws was the key. The miss on purpose. We fired that thing at the rim. That was well done at the end of regulation. And then, that's one that, North Carolina has to be like, how in the world did we not win this game? Should have won it in regulation, didn't. Should have won it in overtime, and didn't. They had every opportunity in the world to win that game.
And Trey Jones, the brother, of course, of Tyus Jones, of the Memphis Grizzlies, hit the jumper at the buzzer to send the game into overtime. And then Wendell Moore Jr., the hero, he put back a Jones air ball at the buzzer to knock off North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Elsewhere in the SEC, you had Auburn with a great come-from-behind win to knock off LSU 91-90 in overtime. Auburn rallied from 14 down. They forced overtime. And then LSU had taken the lead in overtime with about 8 seconds to go, I believe, and Auburn went down the court and got a runner and won the game.
Yeah, LSU finally lost a close game. They've been living a charmed life. They've won a million of those, it seems like, this year, especially in conference play. But that's that loss you could understand. I still can't figure out how they lost to Vanderbilt last week, but rough week for LSU after being undefeated in conference play to have a 2-loss week, including a loss to the previous winless team.
I think I'm going to, this year, to fill out my bracket, I think I'm going to just take some darts and just start firing and make picks off of that, because I have no idea what's going on. I do know this. Baylor's the best team I have seen, and they continue to be the number one overall team in both men and women. basketball, which is pretty crazy. But they're the best team I've seen. Doesn't mean that they'll make this great run. But I just don't know. There's so much uncertainty in college basketball. And again, Baylor 21-1 remains atop the poll. Not much movement in the poll. I mentioned Michigan State fell out of it.
Yeah, the top 9 are the same as they were last week. And then at Seton Hall, Clayton Collier's Seton Hall Pirates move in at number 10 as they leaped up over Auburn. Auburn remains at 11. Then Kentucky, Penn State, West Virginia, Villanova, Colorado, Oregon, Marquette, Butler. Houston is at number 20 this week, up from number 25. And Iowa, Illinois, Creighton, Texas Tech gets into the top 25 again, and LSU remains just in, and Michigan State falls just out. They are the first among others receiving votes. You do have Cincinnati getting some votes out of the American. That is it.
Texas Tech rallied to beat Texas, which, again, I think is another nail in that Shaka Smart coffin. It's not completely closed yet, but I think it's going to be tough for him to retain his job if they don't make the tournament, and it does not look good. One of the teams going in the other direction, just really playing good basketball, is Louisville. Louisville's 21-3 in – is this the second year for Chris Mack, right? Coming over from Xavier?
Yeah,
year 2, right?
Year 2.
I mean, they've done an outstanding job at 21-3. And again, nobody, I don't believe anybody knows anything about San Diego State other than they're good, and they're 24-0. But how good?
I was just looking at this AP poll, by the way. Who would have thought that as we would sit here on February 10th that East Tennessee State would be getting more votes than the Memphis Tigers?
You know, it's interesting.
That East Tennessee State would be the only team from the state of Tennessee getting any votes in the top 25 poll on February 10th. They were the only team.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then you think about their coach. When Tubby was struggling and before Penny came into the picture, there were a lot of people that were pro Steve Forbes. Steve Forbes is a really, really good basketball coach. And he'll get an opportunity sooner than later if he wants to take an opportunity at one of these bigger schools, but he has dominated at East Tennessee State.
Got some texts here on the First Bank text line, 67129. Somebody says, Boogie's coming on big. Quinones, too. Lomax is getting better. We have all injured bigs except for Maurice. Unbelievable. Boogie has been certainly obviously coming on. Quinones has been pretty much what he has been.
I think since the hand injury, he's been pretty solid.
Like he's
like a dependable player.
Consistent. Like he's some games he shoots the ball better than others, but for the most part, he kind of is what he is. Lomax has been solid all year. I mean, Lomax at the beginning of the year there, you could have made the argument that Lomax was the best guy, the best player.
Yeah, but Lomax was really, really good. Saved the Tigers a couple of games when he was coming off the bench. Then when he was put into that starting lineup, he wasn't as good. He's better coming off the bench, and he proved it again on Saturday in the loss. I think Lomax is instant energy coming off the bench as that sixth man. Think about this. Some of the wins that the Tigers have had this year bailed out by Alex Lomax early in the season, and a couple of their recent wins, Lance Thomas.
Another one here says conference coaches have figured out you stop Precious from diving in the pick and roll and on the offensive glass, then Tigers can't score. There are too many people handling the ball. Ellis needs the ball 30 minutes and Lomax the other 10. Role definition is needed. Well, certainly, I mean, not your teams are, with what Precious was doing, were going to make adjustments. You knew that. They were going to say, listen, like, this is the guy. If we can, limit him, make somebody else on this team beat us, because they hadn't, certainly nobody had shown with any consistency other than Precious that they were able to score.
I have a lot of faith for the future in Damian Ball. I think Damian Ball, in a couple of years, we're going to look at Damian Ball. I'm not saying he's going to have the career Jeremiah Martin had. He's not the scorer that Jeremiah Martin was, but I think you're going to see the improvement. Jeremiah Martin was not good as a freshman. Andre Turner was not good as a freshman. I think Damian Ball will end up being a very, very good player, but right now he's struggling. He's doing some things that are uncharacteristic. unforced errors, bad passes, things of that nature. But at times you'll see the brilliance. He had that dunk on Saturday, which was an incredible dunk. I think he has the athleticism and the skill to eventually become that guy, that point guard. But the texter's right. Right now, Boogie needs to have the ball, and then when he's out, Lomax needs to have the ball, in my opinion.
The Ball has just, he's just got to be able to show that he can knock down a jumper at all. Like, that's his big thing. He's
right,
going
to have to work on a shot.
He's going to have to get some sort of thing. Then, if he makes the defense have to respect anything from the outside, his length, athleticism, things he can do, he can certainly go off the dribble. But he's got to become at least a threat to knock down a jumper. Another texter says they tied it up, looked like they had a chance, but then coming out of the timeout, they let up 5 points in a row, and it killed all the momentum that they had.
Give some credit to USF, right? They knocked down some shots. Give them some credit.
Another one says Tyler's too small to play point guard. They're not playing Tyler at point guard.
But he had the ball a lot in that second half, though. I did notice that he brought up the ball a lot. But, yeah,
Tyler's role is quite clear in his team. He has got to be a shot maker.
Absolutely.
If he's making shots like he was Saturday,
he helps you.
You've got to get him as many shots as possible.
Yeah,
if he's not hitting shots, if he starts 0 for 4, well, then you limit him. But on a game like Saturday, you've got to get as many shots as possible for him when he's got it going like that.
Absolutely. I couldn't have texted it out fast enough. He's got that look in his eye. Give him the ball. There was one play when Lomax had Harris open in the corner, and Harris didn't get the pass, and he was very upset with that, very visibly upset that Lomax didn't give him the pass. He ended up throwing it to Boogie, but Boogie made the shot, and then Tyler was pumping his fist, so he was happy about it. But Tyler was only mad because again, it's not all the time, but when he has it going, you need to feed him. And guess what? Yeah, he's a little guy out there, and teams will notice that, okay, it's that Tyler Harris who we know can get hot, and they'll try to defend him better. Well, that's when you have to screen for him. That's when you got to lay down a hard screen and get Harris open and come off the ball and knock down a shot. He's capable of doing it, but you have to make the conscious effort to get him the basketball. And they did to some degree, but not good enough on Saturday.
Another one says Memphis fans are too blue blind to see Penny can't coach. He'll be gone in 2 years.
I don't agree with that. I don't. I think Penny can coach, but he's still learning on the job. There are some things that he does really well. There's other things that he's trying to get better. I disagree with that. I really do.
I think he can coach, but I think he needs to change, especially on the offensive end, and he seems very reluctant to be willing to do that.
Yeah, it's more NBA, it's more freelancing than it is structural, and I think at times it needs to be more structural. By the way, the Saturday, the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee went ahead and they announced like the top 16 seeds, and they put them in each region just to kind of get a little thought on where everything stands now, very early still in the game with over a month to play in the regular season and then conference tournaments. But I don't know why they do that. To me, so they give you the top 16, and already you have a couple of those teams later in the day on Saturday losing, including Michigan State, which they had as the number 16 team and the 4th seed in the Midwest region. West Virginia lost as well in that. I don't know why they have to throw this out there that early, but they do, and teams have already lost that were in that top 16. But their 16 was Baylor, number 1 overall, South Region number 1, Kansas, number 2 overall, Midwest Region number 1, Gonzaga, 3rd overall, West Region number 1, and San Diego State, 4th number 1 overall, and the number 1 in the East Region. Boy, San Diego State would be the number 1 in the East Region in New York City. That's where the regional finals would be. So anyway, interesting. Also from the SEC, mentioned the Auburn-LSU game. Kentucky beat Tennessee in Knoxville 77-64. UK had lost their last 4 games in Knoxville. So they were struggling at Thompson-Boling. They got the win. Mississippi State beat Vanderbilt by 10. But the Ole Miss win over Florida. Not that Ole Miss is going anywhere this year. Breon Tyree led the way with 23, but Florida lost by 17. I know it was a road game in the SEC. But to me, Florida is no way a tournament team. Now, if they go on some kind of run, certainly they can get in. But Mike White's in trouble, I think, if they don't make the tournament. But if Florida doesn't make it, I mean, how many teams you think end up getting, and we're going to talk to Dane Bradshaw at 12:30 about this, but how many teams right now would you have in from the SEC?
Jerry Palm, by the way, has Florida among the first 4 out. Them and Mississippi State both are among his first 4 out right now.
Arkansas lost at Mizzou. I know it's a road loss, so it's not a bad loss, but Mizzou's not good this year. They lost in overtime. That hurt Arkansas, but I assume he still has, Arkansas, LSU, Auburn, and Kentucky?
Yeah, I mean, he's got LSU as a 7 seed. He's got Auburn as a 3. He's got Kentucky as a 5. And he may not have Arkansas in. No, I don't think he has Arkansas in.
Really? And not even one of the first 4 out?
No.
He dropped them like a stone then.
Well, yeah, I mean, Arkansas. Oh, there they are. They're a 10 seed. They are
okay,
10 seed.
I thought they would be.
They have very little as far as the quality wins go from the non-conference. Their non-conference schedule was not good at all. But, yeah, so he's got them as 10. So he's got them all in. And then, as I said, Mississippi State and Florida, both among his first 4 out, with Richmond and Texas.
College football news, Luke Fickell, according to reports, said thanks but no thanks to Michigan State's going to stay at Cincinnati. There have been 3 or 4 guys approached, according to reports, for the Michigan State job. No interest. But right now, the latest report is that Brett Bielema, the former Wisconsin and former Arkansas head coach, is very interested in Michigan State. He is now a coach with the Giants after being a coach with the New England Patriots under Brett Bielema. I would think that absolutely Bielema would jump on that if that's the road Michigan State wants to go down to. But the timing of this, the lawsuit that's going on, everything is keeping some quality coaches away from what would normally be a real good job in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's good for Cincinnati, obviously, to be able to keep Luke Fickell with a Power 5 job like that calling. But Brett Bielema, I know Bruce Feldman was this morning threw out Bielema's name as a name to watch in that. Certainly makes a little more sense. He's not leaving as a head coach, so it wouldn't screw over another program with terrible timing. Him coming from the NFL, if that's the route they go, kind of works probably a little bit better for everybody, even though, again, for Michigan State, still the whole thing is a bad situation because of the horrendous timing that Mark D'Antonio decided to leave the day before National Signing Day.
Second hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by the Gold Strike Casino Resort, the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill. It's the South's premier sports entertainment venue, and it's located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. If you haven't been down there yet, what are you waiting for? Check it out. They also have 10 betting kiosks located throughout the resort. You can watch the games on 60 HD screens while you lounge in plush seating, enjoy craft beer, signature cocktails, and great food. It's the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill.
Ken is dialed up on the First Bank phone line. What's up, Ken?
Hey, Eli and Greg. I was going to mention I was at the game and wondered about the injuries. I got home and watched a replay of it on the Lance Thomas thing, and to me it looked like he hyperextended, like his knee went backwards a little bit on the prior possession. Then he tried to limp down the court, came back again, and then went up for a rebound, and it kind of didn't buckle again, but that's when he went down and onto the sidelines. And I know everybody's saying they thought it was cramps, but I'm hoping it's not, anything more serious than just, tweaked it at the time. But it definitely went backwards when he came down on the initial play and then tried to play through it, and he just couldn't after that next possession.
Well, I couldn't tell when he was hurt, and obviously you're talking about the play prior, so I didn't notice anything, and I'm sure Penny will address it tonight at his radio coaches show. But all we've heard so far is cramps, but hopefully that's the case, and if it's what you're saying, that could be a little bit more serious.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully they definitely need him and everybody they can get for sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, I did not see that, but yeah, it's everything that I have seen since Saturday has been cramps. So hopefully that, just a cramping issue, and he'll be good to go, and then we'll wait and see what the situation is with Precious. Obviously, we know DJ's not coming back anytime soon.
Well, and I worry a little bit about Precious. It's a hip, it's a back, it's nothing too serious. It's the wear and tear of playing a lot of minutes and battling down low, but you worry a little bit because here's a guy getting ready for the NBA. I mean, he's going to be a one-and-done guy. And if all of a sudden this team loses a couple of more games and they're in deep trouble, you wonder if he's going to miss a few games and, will be asked to put on the shelf. I mean, he's a warrior out there. He wants to play all the time, but you also don't want to be all battered and bruised and getting ready for off-season workouts and then the NBA draft. So that's always a concern with a guy that talented.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder, would he possibly skip an NIT if that's where they ended up and we're playing in the NIT? Does he want to play in that, or the approach some of these guys? We see it with bowl games, obviously, in the football stuff that doesn't mean much, but hopefully he'll play it out, and hopefully he's healthy and able to go on Thursday. Because yes, as Ken said, I mean they certainly need everybody they could possibly have, everybody they can get at this point. And if you were to be without Precious, even if Lance Thomas is ready to go, I mean, that is a severe lack of size. That is a very thin front line that you would be going with. We are at Dinstall's today, 5280 Pleasant View Road. Again, all day today up until 6 o'clock at all of their locations. You can get 14% off a purchase of $14 or more. All you got to do is mention Sports 56 or WHBQ. Again, that's at any of the locations, and they'll get you that 14% discount on a purchase of $14 or more. At this location, at Pleasant View, you come on by here. Not only can you try some samples, we've got chocolates, we've got Cashew Crunch sitting here on the table. You can try some samples, but you can also register to win. We're going to be, Wolo and Stats will draw just before 6 o'clock tonight. As again, Sports 56 Happy Hour will be here next, and then Sports Time will be here as well. And at the end of it all, we'll be drawing for a 1-pound box of assorted chocolates, a 1-pound box of the chocolate-covered strawberries, and 3 $50 gift certificates to Gould's. Those will be all drawn for at the end of Sports Time this evening before 6 o'clock. So come on by, register to win. May be able to take full advantage of that and get yourself some of those chocolate-covered strawberries, which are absolutely amazing. They'll be dipping them tomorrow morning. You can pick those chocolate-covered strawberries up tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. You pick the day. They're going to take care of you, but you need to get those orders in. And if you do it today, again, you could save 14% on that purchase of $14 or more.
All right, final segment coming up, and then in hour number 3, we'll be joined by Dane Bradshaw at 12:30 to talk some SEC hoops. Also, the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend that was. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
It's not too early to start planning for spring at Family Leisure. New pools are starting at $19.99, spas starting at $21.99, and swim spas now only $99.99. 5-piece patio furniture starts at only $799. Pool chemicals, toys, accessories, and more up to 20% off. Mention this ad, you'll get free delivery and 1 month of chemicals with your spa purchase.
You take care. We're gonna get this. Well, have a good one. Good to see you.
It's working here, so there's got to be something on that end.
I'm in the area. Got a 40-mile ride.
Is the internet working there? Like, can you play the computer?
I don't have anything.
Your internet is working? This internet is working too. Yeah, because I can plug it into my computer and it works. This line does. Yeah, I don't know, just like another commercial break all of a sudden just went out. I don't know what's going on here. Try something. Hold on 1 second. Get on your phone, Greg, and call in for a second. I'm gonna have Greg go on the phone here just for a second while I try to figure this out. All right.
Hey, it's me. Okay. All right. So we're going to get back for the show. Okay. Well, I'll hold on the phone until they get this thing straightened out, and then it'll be start of hour 3, right? Okay. Okay. Well, we'll take this bill call, but only if we can get it. I don't know what's going on here. I don't have internet here, but I don't know if I had it before. We'll find out. Let's go back to the factory. I was talking to Clayton. Gabe said, "What's up?"
What's up, Gabe?
What's up, Gabe?
Your tie line went down?
Yeah, something's wrong with the tie line or something. I don't know. I don't even have like internet on my thing. I don't know if that means anything. I mean, it says not connected, but I don't know what it's normally connected to. Like which one? There's all kinds of laser jets and light squirrels.
Do you normally connect on that hotspot down there for this or no?
No, this runs off of Ethernet.
I don't know, is this power strip on? Don't even look like it's on. I don't think we're getting any power. Where's the... I just saw you like Verizon thing pop up. I don't know if that's it. The one.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks, Clayton.
All right, see you, Clayton.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Do you need Gabe to do anything?
No.
No. No, I mean here, I assume, because there's still words coming. Well, if I go to Bill, you're going to have to punch him up. I can't punch him up. Okay? If I go to this phone call, you got to punch it up. If he's still on. Is he still on there? Three minutes left? Okay. You had it the whole break, yeah, the top of the hour break. Gotcha. No problem. Okay. Did he drop? So I might talk with you too. Yeah, but then Eli won't have his. No. Okay, where's that story I had here? I might still do it, so be ready for any of this.